So this is how we shot my most recent short film, The Devil Lives in My Home. So this film was made for the Jacob Owens horror short film competition, and it was actually the first horror film I've directed. So this was a 9-hour shoot. I got to set for about 12 o'clock, and by the time we had everything set and ready to go, we started shooting for about 1. So we started shooting both the opening and the final scene in the therapy room, and we shot these back to back. We did these at the same time because I wanted the cuts to match each other to show the journey that the character had been on. For this scene, we had the camera rigged on a slider so we could get that slow pushing movement. We used a smoke machine, some lights, some diffusers, and really just tried our best to make the room look as cinematic as possible. And honestly, the shots came out even better than I'd pictured them. Then after we'd shot this, the rest of the crew started setting up for the hallway scenes, and we stayed in this main room to shoot the VHS tape scene. So we shot this on an actual VHS camera, and this was going to be on the tape that she'd later discover in the house, and should then take this tape downstairs to play it onto the TV. I was really happy with how the VHS shots came out, and it was a pretty quick setup since we were using the same room for this one. Once we'd shot everything with the VHS, the hallway scene was all set up and ready to move on to. In these scenes, this was where the character would be discovering more about the house and what had previously happened here, and I was really happy with how all of these were coming out. We then got our final shots in the upstairs area, which were mostly shots for the montage scene at the beginning of the film, which really helped in setting the scene. I was really happy with how all of these were coming out. At that point, it was about 4:30, where everyone then took a break, and we then started moving everything downstairs for the final scenes in the basement. So the first scene that we wanted to get down here was going to be the TV shot, where she'd be watching the tape that she'd discovered while exploring the house. However, what we had wasn't working, and the TV wouldn't connect to either our laptop or the camera, which meant the VHS footage we shot earlier wasn't being able to be properly screened on the TV. As we were already quite tight for time, we just decided that we'd need to fix this later in post. So to fix this, we still had her sat in front of the TV, however had a light shining on her to act as the glow that would be coming from the TV. Then when it came to editing, it was just about cutting her out and masking the VHS footage that we'd shot over the TV. Considering this didn't go to plan, I was still actually really happy with how the shot came out, and I think it looks really convincing. The scenes that we shot in this room were actually some of my favourite from the whole film. We had a light blasting down through a little crack in the basement above, and the way it all came out on camera I think looked really well. At this point we really were fighting for time, as it was about 6:30 and most of the crew had to get going for 8, as 8 till 9 was just the time to pack down. And we still had 3 major scenes to go, which was the jump scare, the rest of the montage, and the escape scene. So moving straight into the jump scare scene, and at this point due to time the shot list went completely out the window, and it was just about getting the best coverage possible and bringing it all together in the edit. I was actually really happy with how these shots came out, and the motion of the camera had a really eerie and sinister feel to it. Once we'd got that scene, we then just got the final montage shots, and I'm really happy with how the whole montage played together. I think it did a really good job at just building and showing the world the character was living in. However, due to the nature of the montage shots, as each shot was a complete separate scene, it required a complete different lighting and camera setup, which really was taking time that we didn't have much of. By the time we'd shot them all, we had about half an hour remaining, which was just enough time to shoot the final escape shot if we moved fast. We managed to get all of the shots for the escape scene, and again I was really happy with how it came out. And after that was a wrap. We finally got everything packed down and then headed home to get started on the edit. I was really happy with how this whole project turned out, and the full short film is available on both my YouTube and my website. This was my favourite short film project that I've directed to date, and a massive thank you to all of the cast and crew who were involved in this production.